The fact of the matter is that India should be cognizant that there is a sword which is hanging on our head, that is through the trade deal which is bound to happen. I think the opposition has had its run. They've tried to show that Mr. Narendra Modi has somehow come too short in this entire exercise, and despite the fact that he positions himself as a far bigger and far important leader than what he is in this scheme of things, in the global scheme of things, the fact of the matter is that the Prime Minister came up short, and President Donald Trump of the US had to actually intervene to prevent the war from going out of control. And that is, in a certain way, an embarrassment to Mr. Modi. Operation Sindoor and happenings in Pahalgam would really, impact the Bihar election. Bihar election, if one goes by, whatever is happening is now veering around the unemployment issue, about how many voters have been, sidelined or been deleted. These are different trajectory altogether. But having said that, national security is paramount. If it was so in UP, it could be also in Bihar for that matter. So if you think that he can do something like this it's eminently possible, because the agenda of Mr. Trump is known to only him and no, not anybody else. He could be very nice if circumstances allow that, but if he wants to embarrass, he can call all the camera persons and all the journalists and park them in Oval Office and march us a frog march a person and start talking about it. And if that happens, it could be deeply troubling for Mr. Modi. But I don't think it's happening.
Hello and a warm welcome to HW News Network, your one-stop show, truth be told, for some engaging and thought-provoking conversations. US President Donald Trump has once again claimed credit for brokering a ceasefire between India and Pakistan. His latest assertion coming hours after Prime Minister Narendra Modi addressed Parliament and declared that no foreign government had pressured India during Operation Sindoor. Now, speaking to reporters aboard Air Force One during his return from Scotland to Washington, Trump said, and I'm going to quote what exactly he said, that they ended the war with Pakistan at my request, and that was great. And Pakistan did also. We did a lot of great settlements, including the recent one, as you know, with Cambodia. Now, if you remember yesterday what has happened in Lok Sabha, Prime Minister Modi avoided directly addressing Trump's repeated claims, despite a specific dare from the leader of opposition, Rahul Gandhi, to do so if he had even half the courage of an Indira Gandhi. Now, in a speech during the discussion in Parliament on Operation Sindoor, Modi said that no world leader asked India to stop its military operation. So here, Donald Trump says it again. Now, obviously, opposition is trying to take mileage out of this whole situation. And I'm going to read out two tweets which have come out from Congress, of course. And one is that of Jairam Ramesh. And I will read out that tweet. First, let's put out the tweet of Jairam Ramesh, what exactly he says. I'm going to quote this quote of Jairam Ramesh very clearly says that this is President Trump yet again after the PM's intervention yesterday in the Lok Sabha, where he deflected and diverted the main issue. Why is the PM simply refusing to unequivocally and categorically deny what his good friend Donald Trump has now said 30 times in the US, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and the UK? Answer is clear. Mr. Narendra Modi is on a very weak wicket and has much to cover up. So this is the tweet of Jairam Ramesh. And let's put out the tweet of Pawan Khera, who also tweeted this morning, Trump is coiled around Modi like a snake. And yesterday, Rahul Gandhi handed him the perfect chance to wriggle out of the mess. Just say Trump was lying about the ceasefire. Simple, right? But no, Modi is allergic to taking Rahulji's advice. And voila, today the snake is back, coiled tighter than ever, hissing bitter truths into Modi's ear. So the big question is that has Donald Trump really now landed Modi into a big trouble, both strategically, diplomatically, as well as politically? Is Trump really making the position for Modi really untenable and difficult in the days to come? Now, coming as it does just on the eve of Bihar elections. I would really call it eve of Bihar elections because now, in a month's time, the election dates for Bihar will be announced. And if these kind of statements coming back and forth from Donald Trump and Modi continue, what is the kind of narrative which will play out? And anyways, there were a lot of ground reports saying that Operation Sindoor and the questions around the ceasefire were a big issue in the rural parts of Bihar, where people are asking that how could a 56 inches chest prime minister could bow down before Donald Trump? So is Donald Trump really making the position for Modi difficult? I'm going to ask that question. And joining me this evening is veteran journalist, author, and political commentator, as well as the international affairs expert, Sanjay Kapur joins us this evening. Thank you so much, Sanjay, for joining on HW. And my first question to you is that Donald Trump does it the 30th time again, claiming ceasefire. He's again talking about the tariffs. What does his statement really show? And it's come right on the day when the Operation Sindoor, the 2 days discussion inside Parliament, gets over.
Thank you for inviting me, Neelu, for speaking on this very tricky subject, primarily because of how Mr. Trump managed to keep increasing the number of times he has said that he is the one who stopped the war. And despite the fact that there is no acknowledgement coming in from India, yesterday, even in the parliament, Prime Minister Modi said in not so many words, but he said that no foreign leader was involved in stopping the war or intervening in our affairs, which in some ways is in a roundabout manner suggests that he is actually rebuffing Mr. Trump's claims and all that. But having said that, why is Mr. Trump so adamant on claiming credit? He managed to get Mr. General Asad Munir from Pakistan to own up that he intervened. He's claimed a similar kind of intervention worked with Cambodia versus Thailand, but it's not really working out when it comes to India. I don't know what he wants to hear time and again. So this is the really puzzling aspect. That why does he insist so much? 30 times is not small. It only shows he's really persistent about it. And I'm sure he has been told by his handlers, his advisors, of what kind of conversation is taking place in Indian Parliament. And surely nothing very edifying for Mr. Trump, who wants to take credit for whatever has happened.
No, but Sanjay, yesterday's statement of Donald Trump, which is coming, I mean, the latest claim on the ceasefire and the tariff, do you think that this is a deliberately made statement or just another pressure tactics, a series of, these pressure tactics which Donald Trump has mounted on India? So, would you see this as a deliberately made statement? I'm sure, like what you said, that 2 days of discussion inside Parliament on Operation Sindoor, Donald Trump would be very much aware of this discussion.
No, I think I'm sure. I surely believe that the Prime Minister statement and that of the others in the Parliament and even assertion by Rahul Gandhi must have been conveyed amply to President Trump. That look here, the Indian Parliament doesn't think much of you. They are very critical of how you intervene, and that, and despite that, he chose to speak about it later on Air Force One wherever he was traveling to, and that should. In a certain way trouble India, that why is he speaking like that? And the fact of the matter is that India should be cognizant that there is a sword which is hanging on our head, that is through the trade deal, which is bound to happen at the earliest. He's not announcing the tariff. He's sometimes says that India will be slapped with 25% tariff, which is far higher than what it is imposed on European Union, is about 15%. On 15%, they are saying it's like a slap on the face of European Union. So just imagine what that would mean if it is 25%. So it's a tricky area, and we are not very clear about the implication, despite the fact that you have India's Commerce Minister, Mr. Piyush Goyal, going around rather aggressively saying that we are doing it with dignity and we're getting a good deal out of it. So I don't know what the good deal looks like. India has to somehow explain to the masses that finally the deal would be struck and this is how it will look. But nothing at the moment is being revealed and that's the worrying part.
No, but many experts do say, and I'm sure you would also say the same, that for Prime Minister Modi to call Donald Trump a liar in black and white would be very difficult, because he's also a state of the head, and Donald Trump likewise is another great leader, and one state head would not call another state head obviously a liar, and therefore to expect Modi to call Donald Trump a liar, that too inside the house, would be, or even outside the house, is going to be very difficult. So is the opposition really over expecting from Modi, and they're just trying to gain a brownie point?
I think the opposition has had its run. They tried to show that Mr. Narendra Modi has somehow come too short in this entire exercise, and despite the fact that positions himself as a far bigger and far important leader than what is in the scheme of things, in the global scheme of things, the fact of the matter is that the Prime Minister came up short, and President Donald Trump of the U.S. had to actually intervene to prevent the war from going out of control. And that is, in a certain way, an embarrassment for Mr. Modi, because he has projected himself in a manner to the people of India that he will not take quarters nor give quarters, and he will ensure that the Pakistanis come to grief on many counts, especially of daring to kill Indian citizens, despite the fact that first Pulwama happened under his watch, and then you had Pahalgam happening similarly, but this time it was different because this time all the civilians were killed and nobody from the army was killed. So this is far more serious, far more heinous, if you look at it, the entire operation. So if you think Mr. Trump managed to uh, show Mr. Narendra Modi his place, then I think it is not too much of an imaginative exercise.
No, but has Donald Trump really uh, stymied Prime Minister Modi's image, his stature as a statesman, as a global leader? Has Donald Trump really diminished Prime Minister Modi's image with these assertions around the ceasefire, with assertions around tariffs, and it just seems that Modi is not getting it right anyway.
So let's face it. I mean, Mr. Narendra Modi always has an eye over how the people are going to react in India, and he's worked very hard after Operation Sindoor and even before that to somehow ensure that there is some kind of damage control that happens. Initially, I think he was rather looking sorry in the sense that Operation Sindoor did not go the way he had really thought, and the global impression that was created by Mr. Trump as well as by Pakistan is that there's been a win for Pakistan. Over last maybe 15 20 days, there's been a bit of a clawback by Mr. Modi and his party and his entire ecosystem to suggest that things aren't so bad. Pakistan would have come to grief if they would have carried on with the war. There have been, you can say, contrarian voices which have been coming from here and there, some competing voices from the army. But the fact of the matter is that India's despite coming short on some counts in terms of whether we lost 5 aircrafts or 2 aircrafts, that's a different matter. But we are, in a certain way, giving an impression that we are strong enough to withstand the power that Pakistan would have unleashed and also take on China. But the fact is that China is far more powerful, far more, you can say, formidable than what is being made out to be at the moment.
What do you feel? How will it impact Modi politically? now coming as it does just before the Bihar elections, will BJP really be able to handle this narrative of Donald Trump claiming about the ceasefire, the Modi not speaking very carefully, clearly on this, and today also Rahul Gandhi again has spoken that that Modi is scared of Donald Trump, and which is what stops him from saying anything very clearly around the ceasefire.
I'm not very sure whether the Operation Sindoor and happenings in Pahalgam would really, impact the Bihar election. Bihar election, if one goes by whatever is happening, is now veering around the unemployment issue, about how many voters have been, sidelined, who've been deleted. These are different trajectory altogether. But having said that, national security is paramount. Despite it was so in UP, it could be also in Bihar for that matter, but it's going to take a while to really quantify what is happening. We have to go closer to the election. As of now, Mr. Modi and the BJP trying very hard to ensure that the national security and Mr. Modi's very aggressive handling comes to their advantage. But it's too early in my reckoning
No, but
to
it
comment.
might not, no, but it might not impact politically when it comes to Bihar elections. But it does project Prime Minister Modi on a very weak wicket. It does project him as a prime minister who's not been able to protect the strategic interests of India. Has that image not gone out when Donald Trump speaks in this manner?
So what Donald Trump speaks is limited to what he says the rest of the world. But domestically, I don't think Mr. Trump's voice really carries weight. He doesn't go very far, and I think to a large extent, people are swayed by what they read on WhatsApp and what they read on social media. Nothing beyond that. And I think Mr. Trump is coming short on that. They might
Like what you
use
said,
it in.
you spoke about what the people are reading on the WhatsApp. So, how do Donald Trump's assertions impact the WhatsApp University, or that whole group which functions and peddles the narrative through the WhatsApp? I mean, I'm talking about the Bhakt WhatsApp groups.
So the WhatsApp would always remove anything that goes contrary to the impression that will create about Mr. Modi. So if Mr. Trump is saying time and again that he was the one who intervened in the war, I can lay a bet that there will be no mention of that. So in a certain way, if you just go step out of even Delhi, go to Meerut or areas around that, you'd find nobody even bothered about what Mr. Trump or what is coming out from the US. They're only bothered about the newspapers that they read. There'll be local newspapers. They'll have nothing on, any kind of writing on Trump or the US. It'll be about Mr. Modi and nothing else.
Also, Donald Trump mentioned about the 20 to 25% tariffs again. What is really happening on the tariff front, Sanjay? I mean, at what level have the trade talks reached between India and America? And will 25% tariff be slapped on India? What happens then?
The fact of the matter is that Mr. Trump has been threatening India that will slap 25% tariff. Okay. And the reason is that India is part of BRICS, and BRICS have been making very hostile noises against the US, primarily because they impose sanctions on various countries, especially like Russia and even China for that matter. And BRICS, and Mr. Trump has threatened to destroy BRICS. He thinks that BRICS is collapsing, and the way it is collapsing is because of what he's going to do in the coming days. And one of the things that he proposes to do is to slap 25% tariff on many of the items on countries that are part of BRICS. So there are at the moment 11 partners, and they will all come to grief because Mr. Trump doesn't like them or likes BRICS at the moment. And if that is imposed on India, it will hurt India. It's not that it won't hurt India. But as a friend of ours who was there a short while back on any other program, he said that the conditionalities have been imposed much earlier on the 13th or 14th of Feb, when Mr. Modi had visited the White House, where it was made clear that India would be buying fuel in bulk from the US, it will be buying even duck meat instead of chicken, and would also buy all kinds of things which have not been found mentioned in the Indian newspapers. So that is where the catch lies. It is not just what we export to the US, which is not much. We maybe our pharma industry will come to grief. Maybe some other areas will do badly, but it's primarily what comes from there, and there is zero tariff on that, zero tax on that, no custom duty. So that is where it's going to really pinch. And if it pinches, I can assure you there will be a cascading impact.
Right. So we'll have to see how the tariff thing works around this entire claim which Donald Trump has made. But again, coming back to the question of how strong or how weak does Prime Minister Modi look, uh, uh, in these 11 years, Sanjay, despite the presence of Godi media, which peddles all the narratives of the ruling government, uh, Modi has always been projected as a strong prime minister with a 56 inches chest. But has Donald Trump really made Prime Minister Modi look like a weak prime minister? Like what was being said by BJP when it was in the opposition about Prime Minister Manmohan Singh. So has Donald Trump made Modi look like a weak prime minister?
Now, the fact of the matter is that Donald Trump is a strong man. He talks about making America great again. So he had better look very strong. And when he came to power, he tried to show that Mr. Modi is a good friend of his, and he's both on the same page on many issues. But the fact of the matter is there is something not working out between the two of them. Time and again, there have been multiple occasions where he has said things which would not be spelled out by a friend if he's really a friend. And that is where I think Mr. Modi has to worry a bit. And he has, in through his many claims that Mr. Trump has made Mr. Prime Minister, our Prime Minister, look a bit weak, uncertain about where exactly he goes. That is the reason why India is leaning uh, faster, quicker towards the BRIC powers like Russia and China, much to the annoyance of US. And if that really happens, then you can take it from me that Mr. Trump would be far wilder than what he is at the moment. There is also a strong possibility that Mr. Narendra Modi might go for the Shanghai Cooperation Summit, which is likely to take place very soon. And that is where I think a lot of things will be cemented. That's a security organization. And they talk about fighting terror together. And that is India, Pakistan also partner in that. So there is a rub into that, and we must be cognizant that what are the implications of both the Shanghai Cooperation and BRICS at the same time.
You made a significant point that Modi needs to be wary of Donald Trump now. Can Donald Trump really go to the extent of behaving with Prime Minister Modi the way he behaved with Zelensky, calling him to White House, humiliating him before the press? I'm really dreading that day. I mean, I hope he doesn't do that. But is Donald Trump capable of doing that as well to Prime Minister Modi if at all he plans to go to America? Will he ever do that?
in my in my reckoning, he came very close to a similar kind of embarrassment. If you remember, when he called Asad Munir to come to White House,
Yes.
where he invited him for lunch. He'd also invited Mr. Modi. It's a fact that a lot of people don't remember. That time, Mr. Modi was in Croatia, and
Yes.
he said in so many words that he's gone past the US. He can't come back. But the manner in which Mr. Trump has invited Mr. Modi is not the way you invite a friend. You just not like you're flying close by. Why don't you drop in, have a cup of tea? But he feared that he would be called to Oval Office, me to shake hands with Asad Munir, and that would have been deeply embarrassing for Mr. Modi and Mr. and India. That if something like this was being choreographed by Mr. Trump, and if that would have been the case, it would have been rather embarrassing if it would have happened. So, if you think that he can do something like this again, it's eminently possible because the agenda of Mr. Trump is known to only him and no, not anybody else. He could be very nice if circumstances allow that, but if he wants to embarrass, he can call all the camera persons and all the journalists and park them in Oval Office and march us a frog march a person and start talking about it. And if that happens, it could be deeply troubling for Mr. Modi. But I don't think it's happening. He's created a certain hedges at the moment. He has created a hedge against such a thing by going closer to the so to Russia and China, closer to BRICS, and he hopes that somehow Mr. Trump will see reason. So there are interesting games which are going on. Let's see what the outcome is.
But also, I mean, all these developments, so whether it is the political development or whether it is the strategic or the economic development between India and America, Pakistan also must be watching all this play out very, very meticulously. How is Pakistan now really going to position itself, knowing as it does now that time and again Trump is continuing to humiliate Modi in very clear terms, though he might not say calling him a friend, but at the same time humiliating him. So, how would Pakistan really take this position by Donald Trump?
I think Pakistan managed to do a few things right. I don't know what they did, how they did it, but the fact of the matter is that they managed to get some kind of certificate from President Donald Trump that they fought against terror, they are good friends, and even the U.S. State Department and other entities working very hard to get them loans. It was a very cash-strapped economy, and very soon they would be swimming in money. They'll get money from ADB, IMF, you name it. I mean, all kinds of entities. When these big boys come in, then small boys come in. They bring in investment, and they do all kinds of things. Pakistan, for especially the US and the UK, has been very useful. Its geostrategic presence in a certain way can be used as a counterpoint to a lot of entities which are there in Afghanistan, in China, and other places, and US hopes to leverage that. So I think in terms of their geostrategic presence and what they can do, Pakistan has got a few things right. But I'm sure they watch very closely how US and India are interacting with each other, and they must be actually quite tickled by the uncertainty and fickleness that Mr. Trump is exhibiting towards India. And if that is the case, they would hope that all that good things that have happened to them continue in the same manner, and Mr. Trump continues to be difficult for India. And there is a clear divide between India and Mr. Trump's US in some ways that will continue America and US and Pakistan to go in a certain direction.
But Sanjay, what is the guarantee that Donald Trump will not do this again for the 31st time, though he's done it 30 times as claimed by Jairam Ramesh? Clearly and increasingly, it is becoming clear that this narrative around the ceasefire and the tariff is totally and totally being used as a bargaining chip for Prime Minister Modi. How do you think that Modi will ever counter this, or he's going to remain silent on this? And we'll continue to hear just Donald Trump speaking on this.
I think Mr. Donald Trump holds the intervention that he had made to stop the war between India and Pakistan very dear to his heart. He thinks that this is something that he can claim, and this is the road to go to maybe the Nobel Prize and get the Nobel Prize from wherever it is supposed to come his way. He thinks that uh, the other big thing is Russia and Ukraine, that is not happening. Gaza and Israel is not happening, despite the fact that Israel is a good friend of theirs. So his hope really rests on India and Pakistan. So he keeps talking about two nuclear powers and how they decide to, sit down or maybe agree to his persuasion and stop the war. But if that India is denying, that really rankles. It hurts him. He can't really reconcile to the fact that a friend of his, Mr. Modi, is not even agreeing to the fact that he is the one who stopped the war for him. If he had allowed that, then what would have happened? So this troubles him, and he would say that endlessly till the time I think he gets the so-called, he keeps saying that he's got no cards, till the time he managed to get a card in which he can beat India on such this issue. So at the moment, Mr. Modi is not without cards. He has his share of it, and he thinks that he can stave off the pressure that Mr. Trump is making on him. Maybe use the BRICS card to ensure that Mr. Trump doesn't really push him very, very hard.
Well, so we'll have to wait and watch. Today was the 30th time that Donald Trump made claims about the ceasefire and the tariffs. What if he doesn't do it the 31st time and so forth. We'll have to wind it here. Thank you so much, Sanjay, for joining on HW. Thank you.
Thank you very much.